Hey everybody, we'll go ahead and get started here in just a moment. Let's do the quick audio check as well as visual check. If you guys can hear me and if we're streaming in 1080p, just go ahead and give a thumbs up in the chat. And we are reporting live from Dumbo, Brooklyn. We have absolutely amazing views all the way to Manhattan. Now we're pretty much going to be commuting home today. I have to go back to the city, so we're going to be walking over this big guy here, the Brooklyn Bridge, back to the city. We'll get started in just a moment. Thanks for joining. Alrighty, friends, I think we can get started, right? Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is Thursday. Happy Thursday, by the way. It's March 14th, 2024. And wow, what was it a picture-perfect day today in New York City. It was about 72 degrees for the high, bright sunshine almost the entire day. But I spent almost the entire day in Brooklyn, New York. I wasn't really in the city that much. Things are moving along. Looks like the market's opening back up, particularly for the real estate market, residential real estate. We're close to 2 record-breaking deals. I don't want to jinx anything, but we could potentially have the highest ever residential sale in all of Red Hook, Brooklyn's history. Keep you updated on that. Also working a few other deals. So things are good. It's just been a lot of work. Very busy, but busy is good. It's also Pi Day for all of our math fans out there. 3.14, right? Pi, Teresa Diaz. We're going to be talking about the markets tonight, obviously. We are here in Dumbo, Brooklyn. We have this magnificent view of all of Lower Manhattan. You see the Brooklyn Bridge to your right. And if we turn the camera a little bit more to the right, you see the Manhattan Bridge, 1 Manhattan Square, the Empire State Building, 1 Vanderbilt. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing night. We're gonna have picture-perfect views as we walk all the way over the Brooklyn Bridge back to Manhattan. Now, we're noticing a little bit of decoupling in the market. I wanna talk about some mega cap tech stocks specifically, excuse me. You'll notice all of the big FANG kind of names, right? Or the Magnificent Seven, as it's talked about. You have Apple, you have Alphabet, Microsoft, Tesla, all the giants. But what we're seeing now is a decoupling. Microsoft showing strength, leading into new all-time record highs. Alphabet recovering nicely off of that 200-day moving average after their parent company Google, right, got in a little bit of hot water with their woke AI bot, Gemini, right? That seems to be figuring itself out. But Apple is now trading back below its 200-day moving average, and Tesla is getting crushed. So what does this mean? How could we play this market? And how could we use it to our advantage? We'll be talking about that and more tonight on the live stream. Now, guys, look at this water taxi here. Not to get sidetracked, but look at how fast this thing is going. Look at this. That thing is hauling. It would be fun to kind of ride one of those one day, right? To do the live stream. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get started. But before we get started, everybody, just a quick reminder. Today is Thursday, okay? So that means we did send out, I believe, our 4th issue of the Behind the Street newsletter. We talked about a lot, and we talked about an issue and a topic we usually don't talk about. We got a little bit political. We talked about the government spending, which is absolutely off the rails. We went inside and pulled data from the U.S. Treasury. Now, if you don't know this, the U.S. Treasury, well, they have a website, but they post all of their inflows and the outflows, right? So the intake would be the tax revenue, right? And the outflows would be what we spend on. So if you want to see a complete breakdown of that, go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, head over to our Substack, or if you're already signed up, just check your email. Concerning everybody, in February, right, according to fiscal data at the U.S. Treasury, in February, the United States took in roughly $120 billion from income taxes. You may think that's great. However, we spent just over $76 billion to service interest on our national debt. That's right, $76 billion in interest alone. Now, for further context here, we spent $121 billion on Social Security, $76 billion on health, and $73 billion on Medicare, and $65 million on national defense. So we are currently, this month, or I should say last month, in February, we spent more money not giving it to the American people, not building new services, not providing a better life for Americans, but just paying interest on our debt. $76 billion we spent. We spent $73 billion on Medicare. This is something we got to watch for. And I think that gold, precious metals, platinum, palladium, silver, digital gold, Bitcoin is kind of telling us this is going to be a problem if our government doesn't stop spending, because the way interest rates are right now, and we'll talk about that a little bit later tonight, it doesn't look like they're going to come down anytime soon. It doesn't look like the Federal Reserve can afford to lower interest rates because inflation is very pesky and very sticky throughout the economy. So we're going to be watching this. We're going to be talking about this. Once again, if you want to receive all of our free research, we publish to our Substack every other Thursday after the market closes. We did a deep dive into government spending. We talked about Bitcoin. We did a deep dive into the inflation report. And we also talked about crude oil, which we spoke about last night. We touched a little bit on ticker symbol XLE, which is energy. Looks like energy is about to break out into new all-time record highs. We'll talk about what that means for inflation. We gave a little bit of a forecast on the FOMC meeting that is going to be coming up on the 20th. And last but not least, we identified some industry leaders and laggards. So if you want to receive this research piece completely free to you, once again, scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and you'll receive our Substack. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and close up my laptop, and let's send it over the Brooklyn Bridge. Thanks so much for joining. All right, look at how beautiful it is out tonight. So we are now standing at pretty much the base of the Brooklyn Bridge. We're gonna head over a little bit deeper into Dumbo, and we're gonna be walking across this thing. This building right here is Olympia Dumbo. It's one of my favorite buildings in downtown, I should say right in the heart of Dumbo, right? I was about to say downtown Brooklyn. And the water looks beautiful. I mean, look at all the city lights reflecting off the water here. Looks absolutely stunning. All right, I see G. Raymond. What's going on? Bear is here. Brian, Abdullah, Wendy, England, every day. What's going on? Patrick D, thank you for joining us. D Stu, I appreciate you. UniJ23, all of our moderators. Gary Carpenter, as always. Deja Vu, Next Creative, Carla, Deborah, Richard Vogel, Jack S, appreciate it, and the Mighty Bull. All right, let's get started, everybody. It's an amazing, amazing neighborhood. It has fantastic places to eat. You have the ice cream factory here, all new developments, and best of all, you have iconic views of Lower Manhattan. You can see One World Trade Center. You can see 130 William. It's just an amazing place to come. And it's sad that we don't get to come here as often as we'd like, mainly because of the weather, right? It does get quite cold and windy here. Here, one more shot of the Brooklyn Bridge. DM, good to see you here. Austin City Limits, welcome. Lane says, yeah, you've been to that ice cream spot? Yeah, I think it's called the Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory. It's just off to our right here. And you still have a nice mix of some of the old pre-war buildings with the fire escapes right here. But you also have a lot of new development, like this place right here. Stunning views of Lower Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty too. This is Water Street, corner of Furman Street. If you walk a little bit further and I turn the camera to the right, this is the very famous Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory. This is a really fun place to go during the summer. But Arabica right here is a good coffee shop. I believe it's Japanese. Somebody told me that. It's a Japanese coffee chain. They just opened up another location right outside of Radio City Music Hall. So if you're in Midtown Manhattan, you want to get a good cup of coffee, this Arabica place is very good. But right here in Dumbo, if you grab a cup of coffee, sit down, inside, you have pretty much a spot-on view of the Brooklyn Bridge. It's a really cool neighborhood. I'll try to give you guys as much perspective and views as I can. You have these nice Belgian block streets. This is the Manhattan Bridge right here. And obviously that's the iconic Brooklyn Bridge. And you can see all the way to the Trade Center. So we're gonna be walking up, making a left, and this is going to be the walking, I should say the pedestrian path to the Brooklyn Bridge, and that's going to take us all the way back to Manhattan. It's funny because where we're going to be walking to tonight is exactly where we started our live stream last night. So if you remember the very start of the stream last night, we started at Brooklyn Bridge, but on the Manhattan side, right outside of Pace University. And then we did a full tour of Lower Manhattan. We walked down Wall Street. We looked at the reflection pools, the 9/11 Memorial, the World Trade Center. We saw Ladder Company 10, Engine 10, the 9/11 Memorial. We did a lot of stuff last night. I think we covered a lot of ground. Now we're gonna do the exact opposite, and we are gonna finish the live stream where we started the live stream last night. Now this is Grimaldi's Pizza right here on Front Street. Very famous place. Number 1 Front Street. Beautiful building, amazing facade. And if we have enough time, I'll take you guys to Olympia Dumbo. Hey, Jimmy Hook. What's up, Jimmy? Thanks so much for joining us. Michelle K is here. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Dumbo, Brooklyn. Jafet Perez, what's up? Al says hello from Wisconsin. Maybe we'll take a teeny detour. Yeah, we'll take a slight detour. So again, that's Grimaldi's. Pretty much right under the Brooklyn Bridge. Now there's a new development that's really, really exciting. It's called Olympia Dumbo. And I would advise everybody to look up some of the renderings online because it's such a stunning building. I love it so much. I wish our team were leading sales on it. Unfortunately, we're not. But check it out. Now, the developer on this project wanted the building to resemble a sail on a sailboat to kind of give it those nautical vibes since it's so close to the water. And I think they did a really good job. Some of the units are full floor units. Now don't worry, you have triple pane glass windows in every single apartment, so it's gonna block out a lot of that street noise of the vehicles going over the Brooklyn Bridge. But inside the apartments at Olympia Dumbo, the views are really unlike anything I've ever seen in my entire life. It feels as if you are hovering in a drone over the Brooklyn Bridge. Unobstructed views of the World Trade Center, 130 William, Empire State Building, 432 Park Avenue. It's just a really, really stunning building. Now I'm gonna point the camera up a little bit more. This angle, you could really see the resemblance of a sailboat even more, right? Since we're right under it. it kind of fans out to the left. And all these little things that kind of resemble the sailboat, these are the balconies for the individual apartments. It's pretty cool. You have absolute secrecy and privacy. These are garages. So let's say if you're a big, New York Nets player, New York Knicks player, or even if you're Western Mass Dave and you need your privacy, you could have your chauffeur or your black car make a right into your driveway, and it's total privacy. The doors open up, open down, and nobody could ever see you come into your building. It's pretty cool. Let's see if the model rendering is still in the lobby. It is. Look at that. So this thing right here in the lobby is the model rendering for the entire building. Really grand lobby too. Beautiful. So right as you walk out, assuming that this truck wasn't here, you could see an unobstructed view of the Empire State Building. This little green building here, that's the Empire. You can't really make it out that well on the live stream, but that's what you see every day when you walk outside your door. It's pretty cool. We'll give one more shot at the top of the tower. What do you guys think? Could you see yourself living inside Olympia, Dumbo? Hey, Mary's here. What's going on? Sabrina Fair, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Ricky Bobby Jr. says the Brooklyn Bridge. I'm sure that's the place where the Green Goblin had the fight with Spider-Man. I'm actually not too sure. I'm not a big movie kind of guy, but I am a big Spider-Man fan. Hey, Doug Thompson says, hey Tom, it was nice to finally visit New York despite the rain. I couldn't walk the Brooklyn Bridge, but did drive it. You'd also have to walk the Manhattan Bridge. Yeah, so we've walked the Manhattan Bridge multiple times. The only thing though, it's a little noisy up there. Not gonna lie, it's a little noisy. Now the noisiest bridge, you guys know this, the noisiest bridge to walk over is the 59th Street Bridge. Crazy. So real quick before we get on the Brooklyn Bridge, I'm sure everybody knows this location, right? This is the very iconic, I would say this is one of the most photographed locations in the entire tri-state area. This is that famous picture of the Manhattan Bridge, and right in between the trusses of the bridge, you have that perfectly centered view of the Empire State Building. It's kind of cool, right? Perfectly centered in between the Manhattan Bridge. All right, we'll make this right, and then we're gonna get on the pedestrian path because it is getting late. But it's good to be back in Brooklyn. It's a nice day today. I was working all day in Red Hook, so. Hey, Kenny is here. Thanks so much for joining. Maga says there. Oh, you talk? Yeah, I think there was some sort of shooting in the subway today in Brooklyn. Apparently there was an altercation between two individuals. It got a little bit too heated, and one guy pulled out a gun and blew the other guy's head off. I'm not too sure how that ended. I think the guy is in critical condition, but hopefully he survives. So we'll see. This was just 2 hours ago. Hey, Riley's here. What's up? Good evening. This is going to be really interesting, everybody, and I'll tell you why. As we walk over the Brooklyn Bridge, this is going to be the first time in the history of the Walks on Wall Street stream where there's going to be zero, and I mean zero, vendors on the Brooklyn Bridge. The mayor of New York City really cracked down on a lot of the vendors up there that are selling the knickknacks, the souvenirs, the people playing the music really loud. You can see there's a big presence here. So this is gonna be the first time that we actually walk it, and there's gonna be zero vendors. I'm interested to see how it's gonna look. Okay, here's the view of Olympia Dumbo from on top of the Brooklyn Bridge. And this is one of my favorite views here. World Trade Center to the left, the iconic arches of the Brooklyn Bridge perfectly in the center. Beautiful night too.
3, 2, 1, cheese. One more.
Now, it looks like there's a lot of traffic leaving Brooklyn. Not too much traffic coming to Manhattan, which makes sense. Wow, what a nice run that is. Sometimes you just have to stop and think about how lucky you are. I mean, imagine being able to run this bridge every day for your exercise. That's amazing. Hey, Lance. This is what happened to the hot dog guy. That was the first time in my entire life I haven't seen him there. Now check out those balconies. You can see into the apartments a little bit. Hey, Destructionist. Thanks so much for joining us. We are walking over the Brooklyn Bridge tonight. Pretty much commuting home. Hey, Western Mass Dave. Thanks so much for joining us. We were just talking about your place in Olympia, Dumbo. Kenny says, did you spend a day in Red Hook? I did. So we're really, really close to potentially having an all-time record-setting deal in the history of Red Hook, Brooklyn. So, very, very close. I took some video of this penthouse that we listed, Penthouse 3A. It's on the market for $2.6 million. And it comes with a cold plunge and a sauna on the roof. We're right at the finish line of closing that deal right there. I mean, the buyers are just such great people. And also working on another deal, very, very close. So this could be one of the most expensive units ever sold in the history of Red Hook, Brooklyn. We'll see. Now, if you look straight down here, everybody, this is Jane's Carousel. This huge building is 1 Manhattan West. And if we zoom in, we can see the Empire State Building, 432 Park, the Chrysler Building, pretty much every single main building in Manhattan you can see from the Brooklyn Bridge. Let's try to zoom in on some of the apartments at Olympia Dumbo. So the one that you see, this is a full floor apartment. I mean, imagine that. You have an entire floor, an entire balcony, and you have unobstructed of the Brooklyn Bridge and all of Lower Manhattan. It's just a really, really incredible place. And it's very peaceful on the Brooklyn Bridge without any of the vendors. If you remember from the last time we walked over here, it was just non-stop clanging and banging and noise and music and, you know, just so much nonsense was going on up here. And now it looks really nice. Since it's such a nice night out, you guys see this little green speck in the distance right here? Well, if we zoom in, that is the Statue of Liberty. You'll be able to see it on a clear night all the way from the Brooklyn Bridge. Pretty amazing. Now, just a quick reminder, everybody, today is Thursday, so everybody go ahead and check your email if you have not checked your email already. I just sent out our 4th issue of the Behind the Street newsletter, and we talked about a lot. We did a deep dive into not only monetary policy, but we also briefly discussed fiscal policy as well. We went to the US Treasury's website and we've downloaded all of their spending data. And we did a little bit of analysis, not only month by month, but quarter by quarter of all of our net receipts, so for tax income, and then what we're spending on. Now, what's very concerning to me is that last month, in the month of February, we took in around $120 billion worth of taxes. Now, that may sound really good, right? $120 billion is not chump change. The problem is, we spent $76 billion, not on services for people to, have health care, not even on our defense budget. We spend $76 billion, okay, just to pay down the interest on our debt. So very, very concerning. Go ahead, check out that newsletter, just check your email. I'm so happy all the scaffolding is down on the Brooklyn Bridge because the place looks amazing. They pretty much did a full restoration of the Brooklyn Bridge. Brad's branch is Social Security and then Income Security. I believe both are different categories. I think one of them has to do with unemployment benefits, I think. But in the newsletter, if you click that link if you click the link in the description, it'll take you to the website. And if you look at the italicized information, it'll give you the definitions of each individual category. But I believe it has to do with unemployment benefits, I think. That's actually a really good question, by the way. Maybe somebody could look that up while we're doing the live stream. But I believe almost 100% that's the main difference. Check out this view. Incredible. You know what's wild? This building right here, everybody. Right here, this one right there. It looks so small from up here. But that's where we pretty much start the live stream every single night. From the very, very base of that building. Hey, Wendy England, what's going on? Says, I think Canada's inflation is now 4%. Yeah, I mean, here in the United States, it's, a little bit better than that, but still coming in at 3.2%. Which is why I don't think the Fed is going to be able to cut rates in June. I've included this in the newsletter as well, but if you look at the CME Group Fed Watch tool, it's still showing a 67% chance that the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates in June. I'm not seeing it. I think if they do that, I believe the Fed chair will make the same mistake as previous Fed presidents made right before Paul Volcker came into town in the 80s. And he had to raise the Fed funds rate to 20% to kill off inflation. So right here is the Hudson Yards development. Yeah, trade brigades is a big mistake if they cut. I think so too. I mean, I can already feel, in big cities, like the economy is on fire, right? Now, we may have some disagreements about that, and I understand that there's a huge bifurcated divide in the economy with the extreme haves and the extreme have-nots. I get that. But if you go to any major city in America, particularly New York City and Miami, I mean, people are out. People are spending. People are in the restaurants. People are buying apartments. I mean, it feels like things are already on full tilt. So for the Federal Reserve to come in here and make the cost of money cheaper, I think that's a really big miss. I really do. And I think you'd see a 5% inflation print if the Fed starts to ease. Yeah, Vince Fine Arts, we've talked about that a lot. So if you stand right at the base of the Flatiron Building, you're no longer able to see a beautiful view of the Empire State Building, which is unfortunate. But you know, we do have an affordability crisis in New York City, and the only way we're going to overcome that is to build new product, right? You need developers to build more units. That's really the only thing that could solve the problem. If you look closely, you can see the 1875 marking at the top of the Brooklyn Bridge. Someone says, can you see 270 Park? Yeah, 270 Park is right here. It's one of the tallest buildings in the city. I'll show it to you right now. 270 Park is sandwiched in between 1 Vanderbilt and 432 Park Avenue. It's right... Oops, right here, the middle one. Hey, RPT, what's going on? Thanks so much for joining us. Eugene's is a much more majestic walk now that the vendors are gone. I would agree. It's so much more peaceful, tranquil, right? Without having... You know, what was that song that was always blasting? Not Taylor Swift. Jay-Z and Alicia Keys. That song was like hammered into your brain. I like it now. It's more peaceful. You know, tourists could actually walk without getting harassed, you know, heckled, solicited. So I give Mayor Eric Adams 2 thumbs up on that. I got it. Peter says, my understanding is income security is the SSI welfare program, while Social Security is the retirement program. I think you're 100% spot on. Thank you so much, Peter. Appreciate that. But if you guys are enjoying the walk so far from Dumbo, Brooklyn, all the way to Manhattan, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these walks almost every single day, starting at 8:30. Jonathan from Florida, thank you so much for your very kind $10 donation. This is Tom, great walk tonight, and thank you. I appreciate you very much. Now, I have an honest question for the chat. How many American citizens, right? And let's be honest here. How many Americans do you think, honestly, ever go to the Treasury's website and download a copy of essentially the income statement, the inflows and the outflows, and look line item by line item on what we're actually spending our money on and how much tax revenues are coming in? I would say that website probably gets less traffic than like a local small business in New York City. But I think now so more than ever, it's very, very important to be critical of this. And really let our politicians know that we're not asleep anymore, and we're not stupid. And we know that they're spending into oblivion. We know that they're trying to steal our children's future right out from under them. We know we're on to them. We know their sick plan. And I think we need to kind of voice it a little bit more, because, you know, that little statistic, that little factoid, which is not really a little factoid, last month we took in $120 billion in tax revenues. And due to the high interest rates, we had to pay $76 billion just in interest, right? And this isn't really being paid to me and you, right? Now, I guess a little bit is, right, if you own U.S. treasuries and whatnot. But these are all foreign governments, right? So we are essentially getting nothing for all this nonsense. Hey, Trade Brigade, thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful night. Everybody, this building right here, this black one, is 130 William. That was one of the best-selling buildings in all of Manhattan for 2022. Jeff in Southern Tier, New York. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you're the only one. Well, I mean, everybody here in the chat's looking at it now, which is good. You know, it's just kind of sad to look at it, because look at the little amounts that we're spending on, like, our veterans, right? Look at the little amount of money we're spending on Medicaid. You know, these are things that, you know, could potentially help people, but we've let things go so out of control. I believe we're really almost at the point of no return. I still do have some hope, but is it possible that the AI revolution will allow us to kind of grow out of this mess? Maybe, and I think that it's possible, but still, you know, we kind of really have to rein in this spending, because it's getting a little bit ridiculous. But then again, more government spending, more social programs, more stimulus for the economy, that can be good for corporate earnings. It's interesting because if you see the price action in gold, precious metals in general right now, the price action is telling me that regardless of who wins the presidency, right? And obviously now, you know, former President Trump won the nominee, so it's going to be Trump Biden again for 2024. I mean, out of all of the brilliant, smart, amazing people in the United States, how in the hell are we left with those two, right? I just don't get it. Crazy. Anyway, but the price action in gold, the price action in Bitcoin is telling us, right? Because here's the way I think about it. Price is a leading indicator by 6 months. I'll say it again. Price usually leads by 6 months. Does anybody know what's going to happen in 6 months? Anybody want to take a guess what's going to happen in 6 months? Well, 7 months. The presidential election. So with gold ripping, with Bitcoin ripping here, and with crude oil kind of ripping too, the market is saying, look, if Trump wins, he's going to spend like crazy. If Biden wins, he's definitely going to continue to spend like crazy. So regardless of who we get out of this result, the market is telling us that we will not have budget cuts. There will be no fiscal responsibility. And you're starting to see a lot of money pour into these safe haven assets, at least for now, right? Crude oil closed above, I think, $82 a barrel today. Look at the XLE. Energy appears to be taking off again, right after a 2-year bear market. You know, these are all cyclical trends that we need to be paying attention to. I don't know, what do you guys think in the chat? Do you think that regardless of the result of the election, are we going to continue on this path of fiscal irresponsibility? Right, so we're almost over the bridge now. You have 8 Spruce Street right here. You have the beautiful 130 William and Pace University here. And then you have the moon right over the World Trade Center, which looks great. Nakos says, unless we are ready to make some serious cuts to military pensions, we will keep having to spend. I think I agree with you. And that's, you know, a real big problem, because politicians are incentivized to lie. They're incentivized to mislead. They're incentivized to be deceptive by definition. Because if I'm a politician, right, and I get up there and I say, hey, everybody, you know, I was looking at our treasury intakes and our outflows, what we spend, what we spend, essentially our government intake. Just think about it like running a business, right? I think we need a business guy in the White House that knows how to read a balance sheet, right? What are we taking in compared to what are we spending, or what's going out? And we have a big problem in this country where we're not taking in enough to cover all of our reckless spending. So we're going to need to cut spending a little bit, but that means we're going to need to cut Social Security, right? That means we're going to need to cut our military budget. That means people are going to need to suffer in the short term, right? So we could all benefit in the long term. That's not going to get anybody elected, right? That's not going to get anybody elected. But what will get people elected is to have, you know, a charismatic, you know, charlatan go up there and say, we will not cut any entitlements. We will not cut Social Security. I'm going to fight for you, and we're not going to cut any entitlements. And I'm going to fight Donald Trump, and I'm going to fight Joe Biden, and I'm going to make sure you guys have Social Security forever. That's the person who's going to get elected. So the incentive structure in American politics is who can deceive more, who can lie more, who could be the biggest charlatan, essentially, is who's going to get elected, which is a little unfortunate. Which, to kind of come full circle here, that's why we've been so steadfast in hammering home the point that we need to be more self-sufficient than we've ever been, ever before in American history. You know, get our own house in order, because our government is not going to come to help us. That's my view. And the upside, right, the call option to the upside is, if we have all our own house in order, focus on ourselves, what we can control, by the slim chance our government does the right thing, well, then we're even in a better position than before. So Everybody, we are officially now over the Brooklyn Bridge, and we are walking on the island of Manhattan. We're about to see some really killer views of the World Trade Center here. I'm trying to think of if we should go through Soho tonight. Maybe we will. We haven't been to Soho in a really long time. You know what? I think we'll do that, everybody. We saw the World Trade Center last night, so let's go ahead and make this right. And we'll head all the way up to Canal Street. We'll see a little bit of Chinatown. We'll see a little bit of Little Italy. But let's spend the vast majority of our time in Soho, because we haven't been there in a long time. Look at this, they're redoing the entire road. Looks like the city is going to completely repave this road, which is great. This is Park Place. So we've now made a right on Broadway, and we're going to take Broadway all the way up to Canal Street. Trying to get away from all this construction. You know what I just noticed, everybody? Was it just me, or does it seem like all of those construction workers were moving at like 3x speed? It felt like I was watching a YouTube video at 3 to 5x the normal speed. Usually they don't move that fast. I mean, these guys, you know, it felt like they were in a hurry for something. Wow, I think we may hit this construction all the way up Broadway. We may have to veer off a different course because I can't even really hear myself think. Hey, Sonia C, what's up? Thanks so much for joining us. We're just walking from Dumbo, Brooklyn, all the way to Manhattan. And now we're in a big construction zone. I give these construction workers a lot of credit. I don't think I could do this job at all. Being around all that noise all day. Being around the smells too, the smell of all this asphalt here. I give construction workers a lot of credit, man. Hey Monty, what's up? This is Tom, what's your favorite borough? I like Manhattan. You know, specifically Central Park South. I like being around Central Park.
I can see your body move.
Hey, Flowing Happy, thank you so much for your very kind and generous $10 donation. Says thank you for your live stream. Appreciate it. Thank you for the support. I got to catch up on a lot of the comments. I've been missing them because of the construction here. All right, at least it's quieted down a little bit. So we are about to be in Tribeca, and this is the corner of Thomas Street. I would say this is probably top 5 favorite streets for me in all New York City. I'll show you guys one of our listings here. We're coming up on it in just a few steps. The building is 5 Franklin Place. So if you want to look it up on Street Easy or Google, just so you could see, you know, what it looks like, kind of the deals that I'm working on, just look it up, 5 Franklin Place. And you could go to Unit 8A. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom apartment, just under 2,000 square feet. It's really beautiful. And it's on the market for $3,495,000. The building has a gym, it has a pool, it has cold storage, it has a children's playroom. And one of the most famous New York Rangers of all time lives in the entire full floor above the apartment we're selling. So if you're a Rangers fan looking to move to Tribeca, send me an email and I will give you a tour myself of 5 Franklin Place. One of the other perks about the building is it's on a private street. So not to be confused with Franklin Street, that's a public street. Right off of Franklin Street is Franklin Place, which is a private street to 5 Franklin Place and the building across the street. So you're never gonna have any through traffic. You're gonna have complete privacy. And if you need to park your car, well, the facade of the building actually opens up. So the whole facade comes off the building and out. You can drive your car into the elevator and it'll take your car down 2 stories into the basement. Now there's 3 sponsor units left. There's only 3 parking spaces left. And you could purchase an individual parking space at $300,000 each. Very good deal. Hey, Lockshy, thank you so much for your generosity. We appreciate you. Thank you for your very kind donations to the channel. Thank you for the support. And thank you for being here at Walks on Wall Street. I appreciate it. Rick Allen says, who's listening to this stream that has a $3 million budget for an apartment he's talking about? Well, I'll tell you guys something crazy. I'll just say this. You'd be surprised and you never know. You know, my motto in life is it only takes one. You never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. You never know who's consuming your content. So just like the streams and with the newsletter, I put everything I got into it. I really do work hard on it. I try to give as much valuable information as possible. And you'd be surprised. I've had some very successful individuals reach out to me to work on deals. And we've done $1 million deals through the live stream. So that's another reason why I thank you guys for showing up every day pretty much to the stream, liking the content, sharing it, helps a lot of other people see it. And so I really do appreciate that, by the way. All right, everybody, here it is. We are now on Franklin Place. You can see this is your private street. So this is totally private. So there's no through traffic. You have these gorgeous Belgian block streets here. And this is the facade of the building. You have this beautiful statue here. You can see 5 Franklin Place. And this looks like a wall, doesn't it? Doesn't look like this open, but it does open. So the facade of the building actually opens up. You would drive your car up this ramp and onto the landing pad, and it'll take your car down 2 stories and it will park it for you. So we are selling this apartment right here, 8A, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, just under 2,000 square feet. On the roof, you have a dedicated pool. And it's kind of like you have your little own private oasis here in Tribeca on your own little street. Pretty cool, right? So again, if you want to check out all of our listings that we have available here at the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman, you could type !Thomas in the chat, THOMAS, and it'll drop the link to all of our listings. Doug Thompson says, that's absurd. I remember you telling me there can't even be stoves in these units. I remember that. Can't be stoves in the units? There's a whole chef's kitchen here. Anyway, now this is White Street, and look at how beautiful these facades are. These are cast iron facades, and they stretch all the way down the block. These are some of my favorite architecture here in the city. You have these beautiful fire escapes. You can see how old these are. 55 White Street, 1861. These are big cast iron facades. It's crazy. I mean, everything is built so well. Isn't that wild? Back in the day, things were built so perfectly. I mean, these things will be here for hundreds and hundreds of years. Cast iron facade. It's insane. Now in this apartment, this is a loft style apartment. You can see the exposed brick. Those are probably 15-foot ceiling heights. And you're gonna get a lot of those in Tribeca and Soho. What do you guys think of these buildings with the cast iron? I think it has a lot of character. I think it's cool. It's also a very strategic location because we're right on Canal Street. And if you make a right on Canal Street, that'll lead you all the way into Chinatown and Little Italy, which in the summer, those are some of the two best spots for walking around at night, going to restaurants. It's a very fun place, particularly Little Italy. Here's more of these loft style apartments. I can only imagine what it looks like on the inside of these lofts. Amazing. Hey, Carter's. Hey, Tom, do you ever ride a bike or a boosted board in the summer? You know, I don't usually ride those boosted boards, but I do ride a skateboard. What about you? Do you ride, do you have like an e-scooter or e-bike or something? I've never really been a fan of those boosted boards. I'm sure you guys remember this building quite well. This is 408 Broadway. We used to live stream literally from the window of this building all the time, about 2 years ago. This was the, well, still is a WeWork office right here at 408 Broadway. Hey, Herb Nevins, thank you so much for your $2 donation. I appreciate it very, very much. Hey, good to see you. Thank you for your support. Now, if we turn right on Broadway, that'll take us into Chinatown. But if we make a left, that's going to take us all the way out towards the tunnel. So just a quick reminder for everybody, Canal Street pretty much splits the island of Manhattan in half. So if you continue all the way down, you'll hit the on-ramp to the Brooklyn Bridge, or excuse me, the Manhattan Bridge, not the Brooklyn Bridge. And if you continue all the way down towards the west side, you're going to be able to take the tunnel that'll bring you all the way out to New Jersey. Whoa. You could also take the N, Q, R, and W trains right here. All right, let's cross to the north and we will officially have transitioned into Soho. This is one of the most popular shopping districts. Fashion, art, I mean, everything you could really imagine happens in Soho. And I'm excited to show you guys the neighborhood tonight. But if you've been enjoying the live stream so far, feel free to click the like button and also click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams every day starting at 8:30 p.m. Okay, we have to cross the street to check out this building. I like this one because it's all backlit with the green lights. Guys, look at this. Kind of looks like something out of Ghostbusters. This is Howard Street and Broadway.
A free gift.
What do you guys think? Thumbs up or thumbs down on this building? I think it's unique.
Like a real hopefully, yeah.
Wow, look at how cool this is. This is like a classic textbook Soho loft here. Look at that, this is somebody's apartment. You have all the exposed HVAC, all the exposed beams. Those are probably 15-foot ceilings, if not higher. Could you imagine living in that? Really, really beautiful apartment. Hey, Ryan says, which neighborhood are you in? We're just tuning in. We are in Soho. Now, you could really tell that we're in Soho because of all of the cast iron facades and the fire escapes. I mean, look at these. This is Grand Street right here. We'll take a little bit of a detour. We used to have a listing at 74 Grand Street. I'll tell you a little bit about it. I think you'll enjoy it. So let's go ahead and cross to the left. Okay, so we just made a left on Grand Street. And if you want to look up the building, you're more than welcome to, just so you can kind of see the inside. I also have a YouTube video up. If you just kind of look through the channel, it should say Grand Street Loft. You could watch the full property tour of the inside. The address is 74 Grand. Now, what's cool about it is it still is really old building, and the developer completely gut renovated the inside. But what they did is they restored the original 32-ton cast iron facade. So the facade of the building is all original. It looks exactly like it did 100 years ago. But the inside is totally redone and rebuilt. We had 2 units for sale and I believe 1 for rent. And they were renting for $24,000. Okay, Green Street.
Watch out.
2 more blocks. You'll also notice a lot of the Belgian block streets. So here it is, right on the corner of Worcester, 74 grand. This is a total restoration. So this is a 32-ton original cast iron facade. Everything is restored, gut renovated, and they're full floor units. So 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and your elevator drops you off into your beautiful open concept living room and kitchen. And every single floor is your dedicated unit. You can see somebody's home on the 2nd floor. We rented that to her. I don't know. What are your thoughts, chat? I think these buildings have a lot of nice charm to it. It's different, right, than kind of seeing the Billionaires Row like Extel style or Harry Maclow developments. It's different. I kind of like it a lot better, actually. This is on the corner of Grand Street and Worcester Street. Oh, you know what? I actually think we have a Nightbot command. If you type !grand, G-R-A-N-D, in the chat, you'll be able to see the property tour. Wendy England says, how much a month? I believe we rented that for $24,000, I think. Hey, Brad's brain. Yeah, we did talk about Tesla in the newsletter. Now, their stock is taking a pretty big beating. Now, the reason why I think that is because Elon Musk has been cutting prices in a really, really big way, right? Massive price cuts, which has been putting a lot of pressure on gross margins. Now, the biggest bull thesis on Wall Street for Tesla has been their, higher than normal gross margin. Speaking of Tesla, we got one right here. And if you look at any other auto OEM out there, you're lucky if they have mid-single digit margins. Now, Tesla at one point had 30% margins. It's ridiculous. But to be competitive, Elon had to slash prices. Now, over time, those margins will recover, but it's reflective in the stock price right now. So once they ramp up production, they can mass market these vehicles to where everybody could afford it. You're going to see that margin expansion again, and I think that's when the stock will turn around. But I mean, this thing is just getting bombed, trading below its 200-day moving average. I don't know, thoughts there, because there's a lot of controversy over Tesla. Do you guys think Elon Musk has kind of poked the bear a little bit too much, and now his stock is going to get published or punished forever? Now, if you guys want to read our newsletter that we just sent out, what we were kind of talking about in terms of Tesla and all that, if you scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email, you'll be able to sign up for our Substack for free. So we publish a free investing newsletter to our Substack every other Thursday, right as the market is closing. And we did a full deep dive on fiscal policy this week. So we did line item by line item government spending. We also talked about monetary policy, which is coming up on March 19th through the 20th, the next FOMC meeting. And then we talked about this bifurcated market with the laggards and leaders in mega cap tech. So if you want to check it out, go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email. And we also threw up that property tour of 157 West 57th Street on Billionaires Row. If you want to see the inside of that building, feel free to do so. Now, this is what I really love about Soho. Such a chill vibe. Let's pull off to the side and take a look at some of the facades of these buildings. Oh, Burton. This is a Burton store. I think this is snowboarding, skiing brand company. Anyone a big snowboarder or skier in the chat? This is the Patagonia store. Oh, Michael Dillard, you're a skier. Cool. I never was really able to get into skiing or snowboarding. I just don't think I'm wired that way. I like the summer, I like it hot. If there was a way to ski or snowboard in 75-degree weather, 80-degree weather, I think I would do it, but just really not a big fan of the cold. So quiet. You have Tiffany & Co. to the left, Givenchy to the right, and Fendi as well. Now, during the 2020 riots, this was where a lot of the looting was going on, unfortunately. Teak House, you skate. Yeah, a big skateboarder growing up. Not so much anymore. I think I'm a little bit past my prime. I don't want to hurt myself, but you know, back in the day, I mean, I was reckless in the city on the skateboard and out on Long Island. Maybe a little bit too reckless, but that's what you kind of do when you're in your early 20s, right? Crush around the city, weave in and out of cars, jumping down flights of stairs, you know, all crazy, stupid stuff.
But isn't that
Wow, look at this building. Polo Ralph Lauren. This is Prince Street. We're actually pretty close to Prince Street Pizza. It's a beautiful facade though here. Isn't that nice?
Shade, he's ignoring me. Shade, what are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
Just live streaming.
Why?
Why not?
Oh, they all, what are they saying? Oh, they're not really watching, they're just chatting
Yeah.
about it. No one's really watching. That's nice you're doing this for the society.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
Yeah, and this is like those brown street signs, look at them.
Uh-huh.
Those are historical, so they can never change these buildings or get rid of them.
Oh, wow.
And now that's beautiful. And in like a lot of other cities, they don't really have brown street signs signifying historicness.
Right.
And we can all recognize color when we have vision.
For sure,
But,
yeah.
you know, it's nice that this is never really going to change, but the stores underneath will, so yeah.
Totally.
Bye.
All right, take care. She does have a point. These are protected, right? So the city can never take them down. So let's push on up towards NYU. We'll check out Washington Square Park. I have to plug in the phone here for a minute. Yo, the Austin Tennis. My God, long time no see, dude. Hopefully you're well. How's everything with PagerDuty? Hopefully you're killing it. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. We pretty much walked all the way from Dumbo, Brooklyn, back here to Manhattan. We were checking out some of our listings in Tribeca. And having a chat about the markets. Next week is FOMC, the FOMC meeting. Wow, you know what? I stand corrected. Look at this building. Could you imagine how old this thing is? Austin Tennis says PagerDuty had their earnings call today. How did it go? How you guys doing? I haven't really been following the stock too much anymore. But for your sake, maybe I'll add it back on the watch list tonight. Hopefully you're killing it, man. Hopefully, you know, you're blowing your quota out of the water, making a ton of money, which I'm sure you are. All right, we'll pull off to the side on this bench and recharge. All right, cool. We're all charged up and ready to go. I think we'll have enough time to go to MacDougal Street. Someone says, how many pedestrians get hit by a car each year? Now, on a serious note, you know what's actually pretty sad? 2023 was the worst year in New York City for cyclists' deaths. Terrible, right? And honestly, I believe it, because something happened with the pandemic where I feel like everybody's so pent up. You know, everybody's so uptight, particularly the drivers. So I think the city needs to do a little bit better, but to build dedicated bike lanes, which they've been doing, right? When we walked over the Brooklyn Bridge, you had the dedicated bike lane. So there's no longer cyclists all on top of the pedestrians anymore. So I think the more bike lanes we could build that's protected outside of vehicle traffic, I think the better, honestly. But yeah, and you could fact check me on that. I think that's correct. I think 2023 we set a record for cyclist deaths. There was like a huge increase. This is a pretty cool view of the World Trade Center. Look at that. We're about to enter the main college town of New York University. And then let's go all the way to MacDougal Street. We're making a right on Thompson. Brawlexes go to Washington Square Park. We're headed there right now. We'll be there in 2 seconds. This is Carbone. I think it's a little bit overrated, to be honest. Very pricey. You can get just as good pasta other places, but if you're wondering where Carbone was, it's right here off of Thompson Street. We'll go this way. Street. Does anyone remember the last time we did the live stream past the Comedy Store here? Or the Comedy Cellar, I should say. Now, right when we ended the live stream, I was filming a standalone video to capture, New York City nightlife, which I'm gonna post like a big 2-hour compilation of New York City nightlife. You know who I walked past right as I was filming that, like in the first 3 seconds? Is anybody familiar with the comedian Andrew Schultz? We walked right past him. He was coming right out of the Comedy Cellar here. Brad's brain, not Seinfeld. This is a vegan restaurant. Dave's like never heard of him. Well, he's this really, really big up and coming comedian. I wouldn't even say that he's up and coming anymore. He's like the biggest, I would say, young generation, new generation comedian. This summer, I think he sold out Madison Square Garden. So that's huge. That's like more than huge. Now he has a podcast. It's called Flagrant, I believe. Flagrant podcast. He's funny. I like him. Wow, Washington Square Park looks amazing tonight. Oof, I could smell the marijuana from here. It's cooking, literally. All right, let's enter Washington Square Park. Now this tree gets amazing, amazing with the cherry blossoms here. And the cherry blossoms should be coming up pretty soon, actually. G. Raymond's is coming here to Canada where it's legal. I think it's legal here too. It's legal in New York. I feel like we're in a video game where we're entering different worlds. That's the crazy thing about New York City. Every single neighborhood has a different vibe, different set of people. I feel like Washington Square Park tonight has a very grunge type vibe. Not in a bad way, but yeah, SoCal Lawrence, Lower East Side vibe. We're gonna be going there a lot more often too now that the weather's nice. That used to be me back in the day. I miss it, not gonna lie. Okay, now we're going to merge on 5th Avenue. Many of the buildings surrounding Washington Square Park are owned by NYU. Like this one. Cross over by the Forbes. So we're coming up to the very end of the live stream, everybody. Just a couple quick announcements. So we're very, very close. Now, no promises yet. However, I'm very close to inking a deal with Investors Business Daily. Now, you guys know it's one of my favorite publications of all time. I grew up reading the newspaper, still read it to this day. I first picked up the Investors Business Daily when I was a freshman in college at Penn Station. I was bored. I actually missed the train, so I was bored. I was walking around and I saw this paper and it was so interesting, so I picked it up. I bought it for $5, and ever since I picked it up, I was reading it every single weekend forever. I may be a guest writer for the paper, so coming up soon. If I ever get published in there, it should probably be on a weekly basis, and you'll be able to follow all of our archives in Dow Jones, obviously parent company IBD, with the goal of maybe writing a column in the Wall Street Journal. I think it'd be pretty cool. So stay tuned for that. That's number one. Number two, our team, the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman, we were the #1 team by transaction volume in 2023. So thank you to all of our clients, all of the viewers who've been helping us out. And I think we have some big things in store for 2024. So thank you for your support. If you guys enjoyed the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll keep you guys updated on everything we got going on. We'll see you right back here tomorrow live from New York City. If you want to sign up to receive all of our investing research for free, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and it'll drop the link to our Substack. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you all tomorrow. So DM, appreciate it. NAV407, Mary, Riley, Wendy England, all of our moderators, Caitlin, appreciate it. Out and about, Abdullah, Brad's Brain, Robert Parker, Mark Francis 076, and Western Mass Dave. Always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. See you guys tomorrow. Take care.